Just wanted to film a quick little recap. I've been really bad at getting footage and even doing any kind of vlogging, I suppose you would call it. It's just not really me. So generally what I'll do is a bit of a recap. So there's been a bit of driving, I guess, going on since I had the car tuned. I can't even remember the last video I put up. I'm pretty sure I just had it tuned. But essentially, I've driven Mallala, done a Mallala afternoon Arvo prac. I guess long story short, I had some dramas with the diff and some fuel filter issues, but they were all sort of sorted out. The diff was just noisy by the end of it. Silly me, just forgot to fill the bloody thing up with oil. It had oil in it, but just not enough to handle getting sort of pushed on the track. Yeah. Long story short there, the diff's been replaced. So I've sort of at least got that as a spare for parts and things like that, which is good. But yeah, basically diff had to get replaced. I had to end up replacing the new fuel pump, which the filter had starved and killed. So by the end of the day, I started feeling a bit of cutting issues, which, yeah, lo and behold, was the fuel pump just probably failing from getting hot, from being starved, from the filter starving it. But yeah. So yes, ended up getting a fair bit of info on the car in terms of what needed to change, etc. Now I got it home that night, noticed something in the front had moved, and I'd lost camber one side, and it's probably just knuckles on the coilover settling and a few other things just kind of settling in. Nut and bolt checked everything seemed to be fine, so no real explanation as to why that was. So I got another wheel alignment anyway. But I drove it before I actually took it in for the wheel alignment. So we ended up going up to Tailem Bend for the skid pan day. Now that was a whole other kettle of fish in itself, 40-degree day. I noticed sort of midway through the day that my O2 sensor just was not doing what it was meant to, just had a solid reading. Which lo and behold, it was faulty. Essentially, yeah, just was locked at 14.8 AFRs. So yeah, it kind of meant that was faulty. So yeah, and they've since replaced that. Had it back to see the tuner and basically just had him go over it and double check everything. But as you would expect, I continued to drive on the day, 40 degrees, a little bit warm times here and there, but temps came straight down. I had a bit of a ghetto rig sprayer set up. So yeah, that was great. Now I drove it those 2 times and I didn't even change tyres. So I still had half my tyres left, it was above the wear limiters. So that was all good, still had fuel left, everything like that. Absolutely no dramas from that day, other than a few little niggly teething issues. And yeah, the car pretty much sat until I decided that I wanted to do round 1 of the Drifting SA State Series. So basically that's what happened was, yeah, from that point on, I just sort of did a little bit of preparing, got the car ready, and we've gone and done round 1. Now that in itself, without babbling on too much and having you sitting here watching a 20-minute video of me just talking crap, basically, yeah, ended up doing a hell of a lot better than had anticipated. Ended up making it all the way into top 8, and the only reason I really sort of knocked myself out was just progressively going faster and faster and faster. Eventually, my inexperience of driving a dry track, I should say, because when I was at Mallala it rained, did 1 dry lap and that was it. Every other thing else was sort of skid pan related. So yeah, it was a little bit of a learning curve. So I obviously got more and more confident each lap and got faster and faster until eventually one of my runs I just blew off the track. Just, yeah, misjudged it and didn't get on the gas soon enough, and yeah, that was all she wrote. So had I just kept it consistent, I probably could have made it pretty close to the podium, or if not onto the podium. I think I was only a battle or 2 away from it. So that was confidence inspiring, no, to say the least. Qualified 3rd, which was really good. Watching my runs back on the live stream, things like that, kind of, I guess, explained why when I sort of saw that, yeah, I was driving quite smoothly. So good thing, I can put the car where I want it. The car behaves all weekend, nothing but tyres and fuel, and wiping the dust off from me blowing off the track and covering it in dust. But yeah, essentially that was a very successful weekend. Now, before I left, I'd noticed that my steering rack was weeping slightly, which was a little bit of a shock because I'd already rebuilt it. So it's a fresh rebuild. I've only driven it. Yeah, this is the third drive after the round one. So I drove it anyway. We took a spare rack just in case, but there was no real dramas or anything. Now, last night I've come home. This is weeks after the event, obviously, and I've come home and just pulled off the boot and just wanted to inspect it. And when I pulled the boot off, just fluid everywhere. The boot was completely full of fluid, which makes sense why there was so much dribbling out. So I've got to rebuild the rack again. That's definitely going to have to happen. Other than that, the car's pretty well ready to go. I've still got tyres left. I've still got fuel left. Yeah, no dramas at all. I've basically just got to swap some tyres from the last ones because I've basically, for the first time, swapped a pair of tyres. But yeah, we're going to be entering all 4 rounds of the Drifting SA series, so long as I can actually get a spot in the rounds, because they have a pre-season sort of, commit to the whole season, and then that's sold out. So there's likelihood of me maybe missing a round just due to not being able to get in, but we'll see how we go. I think I should be okay, fingers crossed, if I just keep on the when the entry's open and just get in straight away. I should be okay. But that's the theory, is being that I've done so well, I'm kind of now curious to see how well I can do, and how reliable is the car. Now, I probably will do like Oktoberfest. There's a few Malala track days like Matsuri and things like that I wouldn't mind doing, but we're just going to have to wait and see how the car goes, in terms of doing these rounds. If it breaks or anything silly happens, then that might be it for the year, because fixing it, depending on what it is, what any issues arise, it could be a sort of season ender, I should say. So we'll just have to wait and see how things go. But everything's looking good so far. Car works well. Can't complain. Everything's there. The only thing I really want to do is just bump my rev limiter up to at least factory RPMs, because we did keep it slightly lower. I can't remember the exact reason why. I think on the dyno it was starting to play funny buggers up top at some point. So I ended up just telling him, like, look, man, just keep it down on the RPMs a tiny bit. That way I can just bop on the limiter and just stay there, and it's not going to be doing anything weird. But look, it's a 1J. It's not going to be doing anything weird anyway. So I don't know why I did that, because now I'm starting to notice coming in on entry and stuff, if I'm like up there in third, it'll just on the limiter, where I probably need that extra couple of hundred RPM to sort of push me through the corner a little bit more. So that's one thing I do want to sort of get addressed before the next round. I'm just going to chat with the tuner and probably just play with a few settings myself. I don't think I need to bother taking the car into him or anything like that, because it's only a couple of hundred RPM, but I do want to just maybe double check it, take it for a drive, whatever, and get it on the limiter and just make sure it's not doing anything weird. And but other than that, car drives well. I ended up before the round, took it up to Adam at Adelaide Hills Tyres and got a proper wheel alignment, and essentially the dual caliper brackets came off before the round because I was having dramas getting the handbrake working. So now going back to an inline setup, Project Mu pads, pretty proven sort of setup, and it works beautifully. So that was real good, knowing that I had a working handbrake, and I could save myself in battles and stuff like that if I needed to grab a bit of handbrake and stuff. So that was a bit daunting, not having a 100% working handbrake for a while there, but now that's all sorted. So that meant that I could actually reduce my track, which meant I could pull some camber out. So when we got it on the wheel aligner to start with, it was at like -3.5 or something like that on the rear, which is quite a little bit of camber on the rear. Now it's like -1.2 or something, 1.5 around there somewhere. I do want to drop the rear end about 10 mil height wise, which will probably mean I might just do a quick, maybe just half turn or something on the camber arms, just to kind of bring it back to where they were. Not going to bother taking it back for a wheel alignment for that. That's fine. I can deal with that at home. But basically, at the moment, car's on stands, ready to pull the rack out to rebuild that and get that so it's not leaking. Other than that, pretty much ready to go. Car's cleaned. That's it. I've got sprayers on the car from that last round that I didn't even really need. It's only really seems to be a heat thing, where if it's a hot day, cooling the engine temps down quickly is nice. But yeah, I used them nonetheless just to cool the tyres, and yeah, just to assist with bringing the temps down on the engine quicker. But yeah, other than that, didn't really need it. So yeah, next round I think I might try and do a little bit more filming, because that was technically my first like proper track day, like proper one. So I was a little bit all over the shop, just kind of getting my feet on the ground and working out how everything went, form up, things like that. I was fish out of water, no idea. But now I'm a little bit more familiar. I do have a spare GoPro that the mount broke on it, so I can pretty well just keep that sitting in the car, and I'll probably use that as like a, while I'm in the car, vlogging setup, because I just absolutely hate talking to the camera while I'm in the pits and things like that. My mates are around and whatnot. Like, I just enjoy the moment. I know it's nice to vlog things and have it for myself and you guys to see or whatever. Not that there's lots of you or anything, but long story short, no point. I'm just wasting my time talking to a camera. So I'll try and keep it short and simple and do it in the car. Just keep it little brief updates and stuff like that, so we don't have to keep doing these 5 to 10 minute long crap talking videos that can be quite boring. So basically that's the plan, is to do all 4 rounds. At the moment it's looking like it should be pretty cost effective, but I'm tipping that as I get further in, my driving will increase and I will start chewing through tyres a bit quicker. So we'll see how that goes, but at the moment it's tyres, fuel and microfibers to wipe the car down, and that's it. I've just ordered enough oil to pretty well see me through the rounds, because I do have to change oil after every round. I did it, I'll put a video in. So just changing the oil, and I almost thought to myself, do I really need to? I only done one event. Have a look at the colour of it. That's what E85 does to it. So still got a bit of viscosity about it. It's still oil, but yeah, definitely a lot of water in there. But show you guys exactly what my oil looks like after one drive. E85 just kills it. So for those of you out there who aren't changing your oil regularly, if you're running E85, I highly suggest you do it, because yeah, I nearly didn't bother, because I thought, it's done one event, it was about a month and a bit ago, whatever, like it'll be fine. Dipstick, felt it, I was like, yeah, it still feels good, whatnot, and sure enough, yeah, when I dumped it, looked like iced coffee. So there's a lot of moisture that comes out with E85, and that was subsequently what killed my O2 sensor, was it just being quenched by water coming out the exhaust and hitting the heater element while it's hot and just being ceramic cracks. So Tuna has basically set the O2 sensor so it isn't on up until about 40 degrees. So car doesn't get driven in that temp anyway, so it basically sits there and I can rev it and clear it out, get all the water out of the engine and out the exhaust and everything like that. And then once 40 degrees comes, O2 sensor kicks in and we're all good. So we're not going to be killing O2 sensors prematurely now. So yeah, that's the bonus of having an aftermarket ECU, I guess. But that's where we're at. Yeah, we'll touch base again, I guess, before the next round, and yeah, we'll go from there. So basically, I will put in all the clips after this little talking crap session of the day. It'll be like my feeling. I had some battles with Bonnie, which were the highlight of the day for sure. She's very, very good to drive with. Learned a hell of a lot in the first few battles with her. We did a little bit of practice sort of sessions before in practice, and then did our paired qualifying battles together. And then I did a couple of paired qualifying battles after that with Lachlan Pryor in the Ute, Holden Ute. And then obviously into the battles going through. I'll probably put in the little clip of the close call I had, nearly ploughing into, I'm not sure of the guy's name, but he's got the silver R32 four-door. He just had a little spin in front of me and it didn't look like much. Looking at the outside footage, it looks like nothing at all. But when you see the in-car, or not the in-car, I think it was the 360 camera they had on the roof, and you can just see it from sort of like point of view of my car, and you can tell that I wasn't stopping. There was no way I was pulling up in time. You can sort of see where I come to the halt, which was like behind him off to the side, and slap the tyres. I basically had this split-second decision to make, where do I try and just stop, or do I literally go for the avoid and try and stop at the same time? And there was a bit of a gap between the back of him and the tyre wall, and I figured that I was better off going into the tyres and avoiding hitting him. Or worst case, I was going to at least only damage my car and not his own as well. So his car was quite nice, so I felt like that was the smarter option to try and avoid the contact. And it's sort of worked out well because, yeah, when you see the footage, you'll see what I mean, where, like, I stop, but, like, I would have 100% hit him. So, yeah, a little bit of a rub on the tyres there, which was no issue. Bit of pain on the rear bar. But, yeah, once again, everything I've done has worked out well. Like, the kit stayed on. I went off multiple times, did a bit of dirt turboing and threw some decent little holes and things like that. Slapped the tyres at one point, did a few bits and pieces. The kit's still in mint condition, no issues. Hasn't blown to a confetti, so yeah, we're looking pretty good in that regard. But yeah, I'll pop these clips in now, and then you guys can have a bit of a look and see where we're at, and yeah, we'll get another one up basically for the next event.
That's not like watching Kenny drive on the road. That's like watching Kenny try and drive on the sim. That was what that corner was.
Oh, Kenny, we love Kenny. Kenny's our favourite verbal punching bag. You got second to none, my friend, when it comes to being a verbal punching bag.
We love you, Kenny.
We love you.
All right.
And he's Kenny from Mount Gambier.
All right, here we go. So we got Mozzie and Bonnie now. So Daniel Dunn in the lead in the S13. Bonnie Thomas, Bonald in the chase there in the K70. Couple of old school BMX heads coming around trying to show us that style that you see from a lot of these former BMX people. Of course, with age comes a cage. There's a couple of old heads in those cars right now, and a great job from Mozzie and Bonnie there all the way through the course. Super smooth, super stylish, and both get... It's really happy to see Bonnie throw down such a good chase there.
I was actually wondering how many times during one run you could call Bonnie old, and it turns out the answer's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, day 2 of a drift event. Commentary's not going to be top notch, is it?
Especially after going to the pub.
You get the dregs. All the good material gets used on day 1.
This is why we did Drift Collective first.
And we don't like to repeat ourselves too much.
This is why we did the national event first, and we're doing the state event second.
Yeah.
Get the hand-me-down commentators.
You can take your foot off the gas a little in our little state series, but the expectations are in the dirt for us.
That's right.
Here we go. Bonnie Thomas leading Daniel Dunn. Coming into turn 1, Bonnie pushing that car. So, well, she's in the dirt. She's had an excursion. Mozzie's not phased. He's going to drive straight past and keep that beautiful S13 under drift. And looks like Bonnie shut it down there, perhaps. No, she's back in it, back on the gas, finishing off that run bend. Of course, say we don't like repeating ourselves. We've said this about 40 times this weekend. These are qualifying battles, so if you do spin, you have an off, whatever, you've got to finish that run because you can still salvage some points from that run.
That's right.
It's not a 0 if you spin.
That's right. Even in our knockout battles, we if 2 people have a spin in it.
Yeah, but it's easy to say that, but say it.
All right, we got Daniel Dunn and Lockie Pryor now. A couple of well-styled machines now. One of the JDM variety and one of the OzDM variety, with the D speeds on the rear, the Euro lines of some description on the front. But Daniel Dunn, of course, in the fallish line S13 J-powered machine, CSTs. All right, and L1 needs to go to form up, but again, Mozzie, great job there in the lead. Super stylish car, super stylish ute. In all reality, also in the back there, a little bit red-faced after that comment. Also before the comment too.
He's absolutely glowing up here. I thought it was a server letting off that heat. Smart, Sned.
Absolutely beaming in here.
We thought the Splitty was copping it before, but no. Air conditioners hate him. Find out how he...
We got our own little personal lighthouse in here with Snedo.
Yeah. He's styled the same as the Commodore in the E36. It's Team Drift, ladies.
That's all right. If I spent as much time outside as you did yesterday, Snedo, I'd be just as red.
Oh, yeah.
If not more so.
It's all right. It's not like you got a massive drive home or anything.
All right, here we go. So we're going to have Lockie Pryor in the VY Ute there. And he's going to get chased down by Daniel Dunn. They're going to absolutely feed it down the straight here, Lockie Pryor. Big snappy initiation, has to have a couple goes at the wheel there to get the car through the turn, but he gets it done. Dips a tyre on the second apex there of this 3 apex first left right-hand turn, transitioning to left. Mozzie just a little bit further back, maybe not quite comfortable with the extreme length of the lead car. Oh! That's a lot of smoke coming out of the front of that car. I don't know if that's supposed to be... it's definitely coolant or oil. Hopefully it's just coolant, but that has absolutely launched a Steamport if it's like any other LS.
And look, we've covered it before. Mez said it pretty well. If you're driving slowly and there's smoke coming out of that car, you're probably not drifting. So there's probably going to be an untoward reason for it.
That's right. Just impressed that Coleman's car's still running after hearing all the things that he had to fix last week.
Pretty standard. Big dirt drop after the line there by Coleman. If you're going to make a mess, you got to do it in the layout, Ben. Like
no, but if you do it after the layout, you don't get penalised in your score.
But if you do it after the layout, you've just had to do track clean-up for no gain. So, what do you do? Probably stay on the track.
What do you do, Danny?
Probably stay on the track.
The best option is always just to stay on the track. Here we go, S13 on S13. It is Daniel Dunn there in the lead, getting chased down by Preston Black in the purple S13. Oh, big wide line there from Mozzie, a little shimmy shake through turn 1 to keep the car online. Preston doing everything he can just to stay within arm's length of Daniel Dunn there as they come around from 2 into 3. Nice smooth transition, real street style driving you see from Daniel Dunn here as Preston now jumping up onto the door to finish off the lap on to Marcus McCarthy, Jason Farron, Matt Harvey, Tom Hemmings, Dale Campaign, Nathan Greenhill, Hiro Manoa, Will Argoon, Joel Donegan, Jamie Godefroy, Shinji Manoa, Shay Ponsonby and Blake Bayer. So we need all of those drivers in their cars to form up for L1 for some absolute ding-dong battles before we get into our top 8 qualifiers. All right, here we go. Preston Black in the lead. Nice and high up on the wall into turn 1. Mozzie with the low line trying to get up on the doors. Preston drops a tyre big time through turn 1. Doesn't just do the Nico job, does the Nico shuffle, Danny. Getting the wibbly wobblies through there. He's cranking that Nico. But look at the speed. Oh, right out. Brushes that final tyre stack through the last turn. Really trying to finish off that run with a bang, Danny.
Absolutely. Let's unpack on that one, Ben. plenty going on.
There's lots of unpackage going on, but here we go. It's our next group of drivers.
Throwing it around with the Aussies, getting involved.
I suggested they try Victoria Bitter as a beer because I'm a Victoria Bitter drinker, and I knew it. They thought it was grouse. They
did?
Yeah, they enjoyed it. And I said it's an acquired taste, and you either love VB or you hate it.
And they acquired it pretty quick.
They acquired indeed.
Or were they being polite, Mez? Did you ever notice how they didn't ask for another one?
Yeah. I won't lie.
All right, Daniel Dunn leading Aaron Davey. Bit of a gap forming early on here in the run, and we've done. Mez, is there a big magnet out there?
I think there is. Or I think a few of the drivers saw the other guys in practice, and they saw the speedway line. They're like, "That's unreal. We can get it. We can get 2 track days out of 1."
That could be us.
Yeah. Why build a speedway car when you can just come drifting and do it both?
Exactly.
All right, Campaign's just sent me a text straight out the excuse box. Gearbox keeps popping out of gear, so he's out.
Oh.
Yeah, so no good there.
A couple of big names stitched up by gearboxes this weekend.
Yeah, of course. Oki Straps were the flavour of the day yesterday. Scott Miller. I did see another car with an Oki Strap car, gearbox Oki strapped into 3rd gear. Here we go, Aaron Davey now, Turbo LS R33 4-door. being chased down by Daniel Dunn. Great to see Mozzie doing so well, getting himself into the top 8 here today. Again, Mozzie has been out of the seat for a little while, so it's good to see him coming straight back in and really thriving here in our level 2 class today, as he's trying to keep up with that pretty wicked and fast R33 of Aaron Davey, Danny.
Yeah, absolutely. You said, Mozzie been out the seat for a while, getting that car sorted out, big build,
Yeah.
a few teething issues, but now he's in a comp format, gone straight to the top 8, Ben, so good on him.
Yes.
That's an achievement in itself.
That's it. So great to see Mozzie doing so well. And again, great to see him.